print fabrics. Intended for the Asian market, they instead found an enthusiastic new home in West Africa, becoming known as Ankara or Dutch wax print. While its origins are colonial, the fabric was quickly embraced and recoded by Africans. Local preferences dictated designs, and the print became a powerful silent language of communication, used to celebrate rites of passage, share proverbs, and even express political and social commentary. This period also saw the flourishing of other iconic traditions, such as the indigo-dyed Adire cloth of the Yoruba, which evolved from a fabric for royalty to a wider symbol of identity and resistance, and the prestigious Kente cloth of the Asante, which remains a revered symbol of heritage.
You're still on to Lens in Africa, and I'm now being joined by my guest. She is an accountant turned fashion entrepreneur. She is the CEO L by Eloho, a global online fashion brand based in Abuja, Nigeria, and known for modern ethnic-centric styles with a Western twist. Eloho Omeru, it's great to have you join us on the program.
Good to be here as well.
All right. Thank you for coming to, share your thoughts on African fabrics and evolution.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's dial it back a bit, to the origin of textile production in Africa, which, of course, dates back thousands of years, right? With indigenous industries, spinning, linen, cotton, raffia cloth, and what have you. Now, what do these ancient traditions tell us about the sophistication and cultural importance of early African textiles?
That's a very good question. The Africanization of textiles in the industry has shown that if we look back at the ancient Egypt, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and all the other countries, we can see that sophistication and innovation and craftsmanship started way, way back before the global industrialization. Right. We could see the precision of the Egyptian linen, how it's sewn together, and we could also see the Faso Danfeni for the Burkina Faso fabric, how the intricacy in how it is woven in West Africa. All these things show us that long, long ago, Africans have been highly innovative and sophisticated in how they're produced. Right. And aside utility in the using of these fabrics, it's so clear that the fabrics showed how people thought, where they came from, and how they did things. It was a clear marker of social status and how they were seen and perceived in society.
All right. Now, still dialing it back, before the arrival of the Europeans, fabrics like bark cloth, hand-spun cotton, and indigo-dyed Adire, they served purposes beyond clothing, yes. Like you mentioned. How do you reckon that these textiles were used as currency, status markers, or vehicles for storytelling and identity?
Okay. Now let's start with the first one you mentioned, which is?
Currency.
Currency. Fabrics that took a long time to produce, and most especially handcrafted fabrics, like Adire and Kente. Those fabrics, because of the time it took to produce and the intricacy of the craftsmanship, those fabrics were used as currency back in the day. Then for the status markers, fabrics that had high quality and color and the intricacy of the design and patterns is what made people to see this person and say, that's a king coming, that's a queen coming, this royalty coming in, or this is a high-end individual. Then again, for storytelling, the motifs, the patterns, and the structures in which the fabrics were put together, they told stories, interpreted proverbs, and told a story without words. Just seeing it alone, you knew. For instance, seeing someone coming, you know that, and you can tell where this person is from, what this person stands for, and where this person is going. For instance, when you see Yoruba man in those days, most times they were adorned in Adire. You say, that person is from the Yoruba land. When you see another person, probably let's look at the Akwete, for example, from Abia State. You could tell that this person is from Abia State. And now when you see the royalties, for instance, in Benin Kingdom in Nigeria, how they adorn their beads layer by layer, you could tell that this man is a chief, or this one is a queen, and this man is a king, just by looking. So without saying a thing, from looking at an individual, you could tell who this person is, where this person is from, and what this person stood for.
Right, right. Very, very interesting. Now, the Dutch wax prints, you know, now Africanized as African wax prints, which we all know as Ankara, you know, were originally inspired by Indonesian batik and intended for the Asian market. Now, how did these foreign fabrics become so widely embraced here, and what does this process of adaptation teach us about cultural resilience and creativity?
Okay. Initially, the Indonesian batik was actually meant for the Asian market, and it was produced by the Europeans. But the Africans that we are highly fashionable people. And when we see something really nice, we grab it. And when we saw this fabric, we took it. And with time, we took it as our own. And this shows adaptation, strong cultural adaptation and ownership. That's exactly what we did in Africa. We took this fabric, we made this fabric ours by interpreting meaning to it. We say a fabric, we gave them names, different wonderful names. Oh, this is Kampala. This is, this one is for kings, so it's not for everybody. You just give them various names, and with that, we took it as ours. And when you now look at Ashwebi, it was a way of showing community, you know, people coming together, taking one particular fabric and saying, we're going to all wear this. This showed community. So this is how we took it. And aside that, for probably times of maybe political change, you know, we took these fabrics, shared them amongst people, told print like this, and then we adapted it also for political reasons, economic reasons as well, to sell. So it just shows how Africans could easily adapt, and the resilience in not just looking at it like, oh, this is from someone else, and they took it as theirs, ownership.
All right. Now, you know, let's talk about the Kente cloth from Ghana, you know, revered globally as a symbol of African heritage. Now, can you explain how the significance of its colors, patterns, you know, and weaving techniques, and how it evolved from, you know, a royal attire to a broader emblem of accomplishment and identity?
Okay, the Ghana Kente. The Ghana Kente, if we look at it, let's look at the back end. Because most times we just look at the finished product of the fabric as a full fabric. But looking at the back end of how this is produced, you see the intricacy of how the right and left hands are coordinated together, how the feet works and everything to bring in the colors and the patterns. So it's made in narrow strips, and then the strips are combined together to make a full cloth. Now, for the colors of this Kente fabric, the gold represents wealth and royalty. The blue represents harmony and peace. The red represents spiritual strength and sacrifice, while the green represents growth and reform. So you can see that it wasn't just a fabric of itself. It was a fabric that told a story of its own. And initially, as you said, it was just for the kings and those in, you know, high authority and all that. But with time, other people embraced it because everybody likes a good thing. And people start using it. It's now on the global stage. Everybody is wearing Kente because it's not just an ordinary fabric. That is craftsmanship in its highest form.
Right.
Yes.
That's interesting. I didn't even know all these colors had meanings to them.
Yes, they have meanings.
That's profound. Okay, you know, let's go to the Adire from the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria, the indigo dyed cloth. You know, it has a fascinating history, you know, of course, from royalty again to resistance.
Yes.
Now, how has this fabric's meaning and production changed over time? And what role does it play in complementary fashion and cultural preservation?
Okay. The Adire fabric made originally and up until now by the Yorubas. Like I'm wearing Adire, for example. You know, it's a fabric that has stood the test of time. And even in times of economic downturns, this Adire was used as a form of resistance in the sense that it supported local industry, and it was talking about just in Africa, right? It provided a source of income for them. So in that sense, it gave resistance, you know, combating what was coming to them by still having something to do.
Right.
And as you said about royalty, yes, the Adire fabric initially, if we look at ancient days, it was meant for royals. Not everybody could wear some kind of patterns of Adire, because the intricacy of the tie, indigo dye, and then the dyeing techniques used in producing it, they weren't just casual. If you look at how it's laid back, how they tie, how they dip, how they bring out, then re-dip again, then beat it, it's a lot. And when we see all these things, it makes us appreciate fabrics even much more.
The craftsmanship that goes into
it.
All right. Now, you know, a new generation of African designers are reviving ancestral techniques like low-waist weaving, you know, plant-based dyes, hand stitching. Why is this return to traditional methods resonating so strongly today, you know, especially in conversations around sustainability and eco-friendly fashion?
Good. Nowadays, everybody knows about global warming, as opposed to before when we didn't have an idea about it. So the sustainability of African-made fabrics, you know, has brought about a consumer consciousness. Because now consumers are more conscious of what they are putting on. Is what I'm putting on eco-friendly? Does it support the environment, or does it bring about excessive pollution? So the African way of producing fabrics, let's come back to Nigeria, for example, of how we use dye, plant-based dye, not the harmful dye, plant-based, and also the craftsmanship of weaving, low-waist weaving. You can't compare it to the fast-based, fast fashion market that brings about global and, you know, more waste, economic and all waste, because it goes into, it's not just about the fabric that is produced. It's about how is it produced. So when you see how it is done locally, the threads are put together and all, there's little or no waste. And these plant-based dyes are not producing any form of eco issues,
any emissions,
whatever. But the fast-based fashion, you know, it brings about a lot of economic issues, because the government spends so much money in trying to clear out the fossils and the waste it produces in tons, burning and all. And aside that, the emission of carbon dioxide is very, very high from using that kind of production method. And now people that are in fashion are now more conscious of saying, okay, let's go for the ones that are locally made. Why? Because they are more sustainable, in the sense that these are fabrics that can go from generation to generation, that your great-grandmother can pass to your grandmother and then pass to you. They are more durable. But those fast fashion, they wear and tear very easily. So they call it throwaway. With time, just produce, it looks fine, and then you throw away. So our local-based production methods are 1,000,000 times better.
All right. Now, you know, this brings me to the question, you know, what opportunities exist for young African entrepreneurs and designers in the African fabric and fashion space? You know, and because you said you were talking about low-waste methods of production, I'm thinking how that can, you know, how we can produce enough to compete, or, you know, for everybody to embrace. So how can local production be strengthened to compete globally?
Well, it's by teaching more people within communities how to do this, the techniques of production. Because a lot of techniques, with time, because nowadays a lot of people want things fast. So with time, they may end up being lost in history. So it's consciously having probably seminars where people in that community that produce that particular type of garment are brought together, and they are taught how to do these things, how to weave the Kente, how to weave, you know, the ashoke, how to produce the Adire cloths. By doing that, and more people coming into it, being that is an industry that, you know, people want to cash on in the sense that the demand is high, yes, So more people who want to go into it because of the law of demand and supply economics, go into it, and then, of course, it produces great profits because the Nigerian industry, fashion industry, is a multi-million-dollar industry.
Yeah, speaking of multi-million dollar, the African fashion market is projected to exceed $50 billion by 2030. Wow. Now, how are contemporary designers balancing commercial appeal with cultural authenticity, and what role do fabrics play in telling modern African stories on the global stage?
In the look of things now, it's about tradition marrying innovation. The fashion designers like myself are beginning to marry traditionally produced fabrics with old fabrics that are already like our Dutch wax prints, or we are marrying everything together. So it's a mixture of the old and the new.
Right.
Yes. And with that, because of the fashion appeal, people these days want a human touch to what they wear. People esteem their clothes more when there's a human element to it, that this dress has a soul and a meaning to the fabric. It's not just a fabric for just fabric's sake, but it's a fabric that has been touched by a human hand. So for that reason, the appeal for just regular has gone. In those days, when people are traveling to America, they go with empty suitcases and come back with full suitcases of clothes to share to everybody. But now the reverse is the case. People are going with full suitcases from Africa and taking them to America and coming back with empty suitcases. Because the global stage now, there's a switch. It's no longer the way it used to be.
Right.
People are now wanting something unique, something original, something that took time to produce, something different. And in that sense, even that billion, I think it's going to change very soon, because it's going to go way, way, way higher.
We'll be looking at trillions.
Trillions very soon.
Right.
Yes.
Now, looking ahead, what excites you the most about the evolution of African fabrics? You know, will we see more fusion with digital printing? Or do you think there will be greater preservation of our ancient, endangered weaving techniques? Or are we onto something entirely new?
I'm so excited about the coming together of innovation and tradition, and also the ethnic centricity. People are bringing together ethnicity with the centricity of the modern market. For instance, see how linen is, and normal fabrics like silk, mikado, are being mixed and intertwined with ashoke, for example.
Like
see what you're wearing. Yes, a very classic example. We are just scratching the surface. So there's still so much that is going to happen in the fashion industry. And the evolution of fashion is an expansive one. And very soon we're going to see even more, because when you see how designers these days are creating, combining prints,
it's incredible.
It's incredible on the globe. Just look at them on the runway. They look stunning. So for this, I'm very excited
for what is
to come, because it's going to be an endless reign of beauty and possibilities.
That's right. Thank you so much, El by Eloho Miru. Thank you for coming on the program, of course, and sharing your thoughts on African fabrics and evolution.
Thank you.
It was very insightful talking to you. Indeed, as designers innovate and new generations can embrace our timeless textiles, one thing remains clear: the African fabric is not just part of our past. It is a vibrant force shaping our present and future with stylish elegance. And in every stitch, Africa's story lives on. The program continues with a special feature on the 75th birthday celebration of Mama Adire Chagwa, the mother of our own Nolin Abel Ame. Let's see.
Today, at this Eucharistic celebration, we also praise and thank God for the gift of the life of the mother of one of us, our own mother, who today marks her 75th birthday anniversary.
It's a celebration of purpose, impact, and legacy as family, friends, and well-wishers gather to honor a remarkable woman at 75.
Her kindness stands out very well.
And what do you expect a mother to be to children?
We grew up in front of her. She knew us when we were kids.
You could see the way she carries herself.
For Mama to be able to survive up to 75, but Mama has now even gone beyond what the Bible has said and has added 5.
When we were growing up, she does this local brew, which she gives us, and we enjoy as students then when we are young students from college.
She's very strong.
Very nice.
She's a model, God-fearing.
Very humble.
Still healthy.
The food you've been eating have been the right food. If it can keep you well and healthy and looking 75 the way you are looking now, continue on that trajectory.
And she's a mother of all.
Mama, take life easy.
May God protect her, give her long life, and bless her with good health as she ages graciously.
For Mama Elizabeth Adire Wafari Fidelis Chagwa, this moment marks the beginning of a new chapter. After years of service, influence, and dedication to humanity. As the Thanksgiving gives way to celebration, the joy only deepens. Mama continues to embody strength, grace, and youthful spirit, touching lives, building lasting relationships, and inspiring all who know her.
Our days are going to be sweet henceforth. It is our sincere prayer that God will keep her.
Come and see my mother. My mother.
To many here, she is more than a mother. She is a grandmother, friend, mentor, confidant, and so much more.
I feel happy, I feel elated, I feel great.
I feel good. Awesome.
I feel so good to be her last child. And now I'm seeing my mother celebrating her 75th birthday. It's not easy. I feel overwhelmed, honestly.
She's a very good woman. She has nurtured a lot of people in our town.
Mama is my neighbor and friend.
You can see the result of her prayer. She is blessed with women of worth in her family.
This is a woman that didn't have the opportunity to acquire formal education, but yet she encouraged all her children.
She vowed that we must go to school.
I don't know Mama, but I know Mama's daughter. So I would describe Mama from the qualities of her daughter. Mama's daughter is hardworking, caring, loving, giving, very tenacious in anything she's doing.
The moral upbringing and so many other sacrifices that our mother went through.
And if Mama raised her, I believe Mama has all those qualities.
What her family have done for her today is an example to us that we should always appreciate our parents while they are still alive.
She's an amazing person. She has done a lot for us. She really took care of us and all, and I really love her.
She's very kind and she's a good listener. Mama, she's a kind-hearted person. She don't need instruments. Wishes are just endlessly plenty.
We cannot pay her enough.
My mother nurtured us, groomed us into what we are today.
This is the little way that we can say, Mama, thank you. May God continue to bless you, give you more health, give you more agility.
So we wish her all the best. We expect to come here for 100 years celebration, inshallah.
A life of impact, a legacy of love, and a future filled with grace. A celebration is not an ending, but a beautiful new beginning.
wish Mama Chagwa many more healthy years ahead, even as we all pray to attain the ripe old age of 70 plus extra. Up next is a feature from the book public presentation and a national dialogue on youth empowerment in Nigeria, titled Determined Not to Fail by Simeon Adewale Oladile. Let's see.
A new voice, a bold message, and a vision for the future as the banquet hall of the Nigerian National Merit Award House, Maitama, Abuja, plays host to the launch of Determined Not to Fail. Written by Simeon Adewale Oladile, the book explores resilience, innovation, and the drive to succeed against all odds, particularly among Nigeria's youth. With the theme, Harnessing the Power of Innovation, Empowering Nigerian Youth for a Sustainable Future, the event brought together thought leaders, professionals, and young minds committed to shaping a better and impactful, highlighting its relevance in a rapidly evolving world.
Determined Not to Fail is the title of the book, and it is not just a motivational book. It is not just a motivational book. It has a leadership component that tends to foster resilience. And that is to say that it has a contextual grounding in one of the very phenomenal events that happens in the life of the author, and that is the marathon, which has more or less served as a metaphor in the posture of the book.
If you watch the trend of Nigerian youth today, they're not happy to work on the civil service. They are restless. So you find them in the informal sector where they are transforming the nation, one step at a time, one youth at a time.
And I got that this book speaks directly to that need. It reminds us that innovation is not only about technology, it is about thinking differently, identifying opportunities where others see challenges, and creating solutions that uplift communities.
For the author, Determined Not to Fail is not just a book, but a call to action, urging young people, both in Nigeria and Africa as a continent, to embrace innovation, harness the immense potential within them, and redefine their future.
As one of the 1% in the whole world that have run a marathon, I did 6 hours, 26 minutes. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for gracing this occasion with your presence. Your support is a testament to the collective belief we share in the power of resilience and the pursuit of our dream. I urge you to harness the immense potential within you and the potential in our great country, Nigeria. Let your aspirations soar, unburdened by fear of failure. Each setback is a stepping stone towards success, and your strong determination is the backbone of our nation's future.
The book is very important to the youth for us not to give up, most especially on our country, Nigeria. So I encourage youth so much not to run away from Nigeria, which we call Japa. They should stay and let's unite together and let's defend the country. And I believe that Nigerians shall be great with us.
As copies exchange hands and conversations continue, the message is clear. Failure is not an option, and success begins with a mindset that is determined not to fail.
It's now time to dive into the vibrant world of African entertainment, where creativity, rhythm, and storytelling take center stage. From chart-topping music and blockbuster films to rib-cracking comedy and viral trends, Africa's entertainment industry continues to captivate audiences across the globe. Let's check out today's Spotlight.
Suddenly my loving not day enough. Tell me what I do, although. Shall you get another someone?
Nigerian stars Johnny Joel, Ira Star, and Young John come to temporary pop. At its core, Colorado is about escape, finding peace and love with that one special person that seems to make you lose your mind, in a good way though. The visuals reflect that mood beautifully, with soft, intimate and singular scene, warm lighting, and a relaxed atmosphere that captures laid-back moments. With Johnny Joel's soulful storytelling, Ira Star's silky vocals, and Young John's big boy energy, Colorado delivers a perfect balance of romance, rhythm, and vibe. Nigerian music star Ricardo Banks teams up with soulful vocalist Libianca on Nobody, a smooth, emotionally rich love record that leans into vulnerability and deep connection. At its core, the song speaks about devotion, that feeling of having no one else but that one person who truly understands you. The visuals bring this to life with soft scenes and warm tones, simple yet expressive. Nobody delivers a calm, heartfelt vibe, blending Ricardo's mellow delivery with Libianca's soothing vocals. Together, they create a love story that feels honest, tender, and beautifully understated. We will close with a comedy skit.
We can get it?
Yeah, you can get whatever you want.
Okay, we're gonna get this one.
My friend, how much is this?
That one's $87,000, sir.
Yeah, that's doable. And you know, you look good in brown, but I prefer when you wear like yellow. Do you have this in yellow?
We have that in yellow, yes, sir.
You have that in yellow?
Perfect.
Oh, yes. But like purple is really your color. Like when you wear purple, like
I don't think I've ever
I
worn
go
purple.
crazy. Do you have this?
We absolutely have in purple, my favorite color. Matter of fact, we actually have custom colors. Just give us the hue and we'll make the bag for you.
Can you go in the back? I want to talk to you.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick up some more actually.
Yeah. Okay. Big bro, Alpha. Come close. Which color do you not have?
We can say our machine's broken.
So your machine is broken now?
Yes, sir.
Your machine doesn't work anymore?
Yes, and
you don't have any...
We don't have any colors.
So when she comes back here, you will say your machine is broken?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Honey, you can come.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one is just for display. I was going to get you like, whatever color you want, but you said this machine is...
Our color machines, we are so sorry.
Yeah,
we are so sorry.
And he says you can't sell this one, right?
No.
You cannot sell this one, sorry.
Do you have can we put something on hold for later? Order it in?
Our whole machine's broken.
The whole machine.
And as we call it a wrap on the program today, we have traversed the heart and soul of Africa. From the lessons of our political history to the beauty of our landscape and, of course, the rhythm of our entertainment. Today, we also explored how the evolution of African fabric reflects a dynamic balance between tradition and modernity, preserving cultural identity while adapting to global trends. In many ramifications, Africa has become that continent to reckon with. Don't you just love being African? I do. I'm Ijoma Njamanze. See you next time.
can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
I've got a willingness to contribute positively to the well-being of my fellow citizen. As a Nigerian, I'm a provider, helper, listen to me. As I listen to you, I'm a born winner and Nigerian security. As a Nigerian, I'm a real Nigerian, born Nigerian, a resilient Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian, accountable Nigerian, a caring Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code.
Green, white, green, oh I pledge my dear country. I'm embodied with observance and courtesy. There is nothing in this world above me, if no be God. Pushing against all odds till my goals are attained. Nigerian spirit, Nigerian dream. Nigerian spirit, Nigerian dream. I know if you forget Nigerian promise to be.
I am reliable. Oh, I know I'm responsible for my actions. I am strong, healthy. Can't you see I am blessed? I'm a real Nigerian, born Nigerian, a resilient Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian, accountable Nigerian, a caring Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian, born Nigerian, a resilient Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian, accountable Nigerian, a caring Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian, accountable Nigerian, a caring Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian, accountable Nigerian, a caring Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code.
Moving Nigeria to greatness.
Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Welcome to Eco Frontline on Africa's window to the world. The impact of climate change on the human health is worrisome and calls for urgent and collective action to mitigate it. Climate change is no longer a future warning or a distant threat. One of it in a visible form, microplastic or nanoplastic. What role do you see government policies or public awareness playing in the future of waste recycling in Nigeria and in Africa by extension? How exactly is rising temperature and extreme weather condition increase diseases in this climate? Please stay safe and healthy until we return.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Nigeria's disease control landscape is complex, with the country battling a heavy burden of infectious diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and Lassa fever, as recurring outbreaks and endemic conditions expose weaknesses in the public health system. However, The government is intensifying efforts through improved surveillance, mass drug administration programs, and partnerships with international agencies to address the persistent challenges and reach underserved communities. In this episode, the program will examine the challenges of disease control in Nigeria, the impact of diseases on national development, and strategies to strengthen healthcare systems, all with the hope of raising awareness on the importance of effective disease control in driving economic growth and social stability in Nigeria. Hello and welcome to The Correspondence this week. I am Zenra Dingmon, and thank you for being there. Now, Nigeria is battling a heavy burden of infectious diseases as recurring outbreaks and long-standing endemic conditions continue to expose significant weaknesses in the country's public health system. Although the government has intensified efforts through improved surveillance, mass drug administration programs. In this report, Oluseyi Adire takes a closer look at Nigeria's disease control and prevention efforts, the challenges confronting them, and their broader implications for national development.
Nigeria's disease burden is often described as a double and now triple threat. Communicable diseases remain widespread, while non-communicable diseases are rising rapidly, and neglected tropical diseases continue to affect vulnerable populations. Infectious diseases continue to pose an immediate and visible threat. Seasonal outbreaks of Lassa fever affect multiple states each year, with high fatality rates linked to delayed diagnosis and limited access to care.
The only worrisome is that more people are dying. We need to know why, especially healthcare workers. We've sent testing commodities, laboratory testing commodities to different laboratories networks that we have in those states. Health workers, everybody again must adopt this infection prevention and control, which is what we see is lacking, both at the state's facilities and even in the community. But one key thing we found, like all these outbreaks emanate from the communities, local government and state government. And that's why in our current address here now to build sub-national capacity. If the states themselves cannot take control of this, there's very limited what NCDC can do, especially with respect to our limited resources.
Despite efforts by the federal government and partners, weak disease surveillance system, inadequate healthcare infrastructure, shortage of trained health workers, poor funding, and low public awareness.
For instance, last year, there was no release, not 1 naira for NCDs at all. Now this is really alarming. It's really alarming. There are also gaps in terms of what the other ministries, departments and agencies that are not core health in their understanding of how to couch activities, to present them, so that they get funding to do those activities that are related to improving the health status and to actually reducing the NCD's burden in Nigeria.
Experts say addressing Nigeria's disease burden will require stronger investments in healthcare, improved sanitation, expanded access to preventive services, and sustained public awareness campaigns. Nigeria's fight against disease is not just a health issue. It is a development challenge. How the country responds will shape its future for generations to come.
Oluseyi Adire now joins us to discuss more on this issue. It's good to see you on The Correspondence, Oluseyi.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Okay, let's dive in. Now, as a health correspondent, can you tell us the current state of disease control in Nigeria, and are we making any progress based on your findings?
Once again, thank you very much. The current state, just if I may say, there are any level of progress, no doubt there are lots of progress that is happening. Just that we can say it's like a real mixed progress because the persistent gaps are still there. Yes, it is not what it was, let me say, years back or pre-COVID. And just like many countries, the lessons and the gains of COVID-19 actually make many countries, and Nigeria is not just different, to have a lot of things in place, a lot of investment when it comes to disease control and prevention. If you might know, Nigeria now has enough, and let me say enough, more laboratories in place. All 6 geopolitical zones can now boast of at least a laboratory. Nigerian disease control will tell you that they are using enough surveillance system, enough mechanism, enough structures that have been built across the country. So government has actually invested more when it comes to disease control. And no doubt the lessons of COVID-19 actually make many countries, and same with Nigeria, to actually have a lot of things in preparedness for any outbreaks that might surface again. So for now, there are lots of progress. Investment has been put in place to strengthen surveillance system, to respond to disease, and that is what we can see in most of the outbreaks that is happening in the country today. The country is actually confronting it. Government coordinated efforts from the government is actually strengthening surveillance, and this is actually helping to at least make the progress to be seen when it comes to disease control in the country.
Now, good to know we've made quite a significant impact. Now, tell us about the impact of disease control and prevention on national development.
Yes, the impact is actually, let me say, is actually still of a kind of, not just on the health system. The disease control, the disease outbreaks, and the disease reports that we are seeing and its impacts on national development is something that is, no doubt, for now, still worrisome, because when we're talking about the health system, it's actually stretching the health system. So the healthcare in Nigeria is actually being stressed when it comes to managing all these diseases. As Lassa fever is coming, cholera will be coming, or meningitis and all these diseases almost coming at the same time. So when it comes to its impact on national development, it's actually also affecting the economy, not just the economy alone, even the education system of the country. In some parts of the country, schools were shut down because of the outbreak of diphtheria. And when you see even this Lassa fever that we're talking about, the over 650 confirmed cases presently in the country, and even over 150 numbers of fatalities being recorded according to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. These actually show an impact on the workforce. These people that have been coming down with this disease, it is happening in communities, and when it is happening in communities, it will affect farming. So when it comes to the impact of disease in Nigeria, the impact is actually very huge. But I believe we're actually working towards containing them and actually confronting them too.
Okay, now, as a reporter on the field, we know that you can only say so much, but what strategies do you think can strengthen Nigeria's healthcare systems based on events you've covered and strategies, coordinated meetings you've covered?
Yes, thank you. Like I said, we must give it to the present administration when it comes to this One Health approach that the government is deploying. The strategy is there. The policies are there when it comes to, the only thing I would say is they need to be strengthened. They need to go beyond just the paperwork into implementation. The investment, let me use the basic healthcare provision fund, for instance, is actually really, really helping. Over 13,000, let me say 13,500 primary healthcare are now being supported by this fund. So what I would say is we must commend the government when it comes to the efforts that is actually working now. Just that the effort needs to be intensified. We must believe that when the federal government, for instance, is saying we're supporting primary health care of 13,500 across the country, the question we should be asking is, how many is the state government supporting? How many primary healthcare is the state government also supporting in their own basic healthcare provision fund structures, for instance, asking some questions when it comes to health delivery in terms of this local government autonomy. Welcome idea, welcome development, but at the same time, a lot of questions needs to be asked when it comes to what is happening at the local government. These diseases are coming out from the local government. These diseases are coming out from the people at the grassroots. So it is not just about federal government. While the federal government is having much investment, huge funding, billions of nairas going into disease control, primary health care, NHIA, for instance, and all of that, even emergency operations in the country. I think more strategies that we need to do is for more investment to come from the government and the subnationals, and also private development or private are actually doing their part, but I think more needs to be done. So if all this is being put in place and the policies of government going beyond just paperwork into practical experience is actually what we need to actually change this whole narrative.
Okay, talking about that, you've mentioned a lot about what the federal government is doing and what the subnationals need to do. Now, apart from that, we all know that when it comes to issues like this, everybody has to join the fight. All hands must be on deck. Now, how can Nigerians, as individuals and communities, contribute to these disease control efforts?
Thank you very much. Nice question, and I think it is time for us to start talking to ourselves as citizens. Let's believe that this is not just government alone. Citizens also need to start planning their own time into and planning for their own health. If you want to ask questions now, you will see people saying they are having savings to pay for school fees. They are having savings to buy food. Festivals are coming. You have people saying they are having savings for families to buy clothes and all of that. But ask Nigerians today, how much have you saved in case you have a breakdown? I need to go to pharmacy. I need to go to the hospital. This is the money that I've saved for this. Nigerians are not really doing that. Some will even say, are you praying for me to be sick? And that is just one thing that Nigerians need to know. Secondly, Nigerians need to take their health seriously. When there is a kind of a sign that you're noticing, even in your neighborhood, you're noticing that this thing is not the way it's supposed to be. Instead of taking into treating yourself or taking into treating yourself at home, go to medical health facilities. That is the best way we need to help government. The more we respond to this thing on time, the more we report these cases early enough, the more it will help the coordinated effort to actually find out solutions to this thing. So when you notice that something is happening to your health, instead of taking some unnecessary drugs that you don't really know the details of it, it's better to go to health facilities. And also, like I said, Nigerians need to take their own health in their own hands.
Precautionary measures. Thank you, Olusheye. Now, finally, before we let you go, health is quite the sector. It's very large. Now, we want to share your experience covering the sector. What are the challenges and what are the perks, if any? What have you learned and seen over time? You know, your experiences and how it has helped to shape you as a reporter.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's quite a laudable experience. We must give thanks to the privilege or the platform given to us to actually serve. I must say that as a journalist, you're coming from humanity, you're coming from heart. So finding yourself reporting science, health, then you know that, yes, the platform is there, the support system is there for you to actually navigate the whole situation. Yes, at first you'll be thinking, how can you learn? How can you learn? How can you report all these things that is more of scientific in nature? The names, for instance, of all these diseases. But I believe that it is actually knowledge. I believe that it's actually system. So if you have, like I said, we have a system, a mechanism in NTA as a reporter that is working. You have that support system of experienced journalists that have come before you. You're not just finding yourself on the beat. You have actually been tutored or been guided by some people that actually puts you on the... And like I said, yes, out is wide, but most of the time you see that reporters are being stationed to focus at a particular area. So if it is primary health care, if it is disease control, then you know that it's something that you have been serving for years. So the more you work on it, the more experience you gather, the more it's become more easy for you to work around anything that is coming. The experience of COVID-19 is there. I was on the field, and that is one of the things that I cannot forget, having to need to test yourself every time as a reporter to confirm that if you have not contacted the COVID, you are also scared of what you are hearing from everywhere. Just small sickness in your body, you're already thinking, is this not COVID? So all these outbreaks that is happening, are you already there in the field? Managing and reporting it is actually something that can be scary. But at the same time, you're already learning about the precaution measures. They're already telling you about social distancing. You're already telling you about how you need to do as a reporter to get yourself protected. So when it comes to understanding of some level of health security, it is part of what we're learning on the field. So the experience is quite loving. It's quite something is laudable, something that you wish to, you're happy for having such experience. And I must say thanks for those who have given us the platform to actually serve on that field.
All right, thank you so much, Oluseyi, and we hope that you keep gaining more experience so that you can keep sharing your insights with us. Thank you so much for shedding light on these crucial issues, and we hope to see you sometime soon on The Correspondence.
Thank you very much. It's a nice time being with you.
All right. Now let's take some messages. The program will continue shortly. Stay tuned.
Our major currency unit is the Naira, while the minor unit is the Kobo. They are both in notes and coins. The Naira is more than just a medium of exchange. It bears the images of our heroes. So, stop abusing the Naira. It is a criminal offense to spray the Naira at events. Stop stepping on the Naira. It's not your enemy. Do not squeeze, ruffle, or write on the Naira. Handling the Naira with dirty or oily hands can deface the Naira. Love the Naira as you love yourself. Be a real Nigerian.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Welcome back to The Correspondence. And now from Sokoto State. As Nigeria intensifies efforts to strengthen disease control mechanisms, effective healthcare delivery remains pivotal to national growth and human capital development. Aliu Mohammed Kawaye reports that sustained interventions in immunization programs, disease surveillance and community engagement are yielding measurable results in reducing preventable diseases across Sokoto State.
In many communities across Sokoto State, access to basic health care is gradually improving, driven by targeted government interventions and support from development partners. Efforts such as polio eradication campaigns, routine immunization, and fight against 6 childhood killer diseases have continued to protect thousands of children from preventable diseases. As part of efforts
for Women Affairs, Ministry for Information, Ministry for Water Resources, and as well as the Ministry of Education, all these are collaborative ministries in order to join hands and let all this particular sector contribute toward better health indices and better outcome.
We are aware health is for all. So the government of the day promised to make some significant impact on the grassroots, and this is what is going on.
For residents, adopting proper hygiene practices and embracing vaccination remain critical steps in preventing disease and promoting healthier communities. While progress has been made, sustaining it requires stronger collaboration, sustained investment, and people-driven approach to healthcare delivery. These measures are contributing to improved healthcare outcomes and a more resilient healthcare system.
And as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to commemorate World Health Day 2026, an awareness walk aimed at promoting healthy living and drawing attention to key public health concerns was embarked upon in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Medical experts reiterate the importance of preventive health care, regular exercise, and collective responsibility in improving overall well-being. Kente Igbari has the report.
Led by the Southwest Zonal Coordinator of the World Health Organization in Oyo State, Dr. Isiaka Ayodeji, participants moved through major roads in Ibadan, displaying banners that carried key public health messages advocating healthy living. At the Oyo State Secretariat, the theme was received by the Commissioner for Health.
In Oyo State, we have chosen not to look away. We have chosen to act. We have chosen to act with science. We are strengthening our primary health care system so that they are closer to people.
Science is about data. It's data-driven that is being generated from the facility, and it's based on that we make use of to develop vaccines, to develop medicine, and that has been able to help us to reduce death.
With the 2026 theme, Together for Health, a call to stand with science, healthcare practitioners called on Nigerians to embrace science-driven approaches in tackling both communicable and non-communicable diseases across the country.
Any health outcome is not dependent on those in the Ministry of Health. It's a collaborative involvement.
The awareness work also highlighted the urgent need to strengthen the healthcare system and increase investment in the sector to ensure improved service delivery.
Thank you, Kende, for that inspiring report on the World Health Day awareness walk in Ibadan. Medical experts are stressing the importance of preventive healthcare and healthy living. Let's endeavor to do our part. And with that, we conclude the correspondence this week. Do join us again, same time next week. Thanks for sharing your time with us. And from all of us here, it's bye for now.
Commander, what's going on?
I've got a willingness to contribute positively to the well-being of my fellow citizen. As a Nigerian, I'm a provider, helper, listen to me. As I listen to you, I'm a born winner and I cherish security. As a Nigerian, I'm a real Nigerian. Born Nigerian, a resilient Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian, accountable Nigerian, a caring Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code.
Green, white, green, oh, I pledge my dear country. I'm embodied with observance and courtesy. There is nothing in this world above me, if no be God. Pushing against all odds till my goals are attained. Nigerian spirit, Nigerian dream. Nigerian spirit, Nigerian dream. I know if you forget Nigerian promise to be.
I am reliable. Oh, I know I'm responsible for my actions. I am strong, healthy. Can't you see I am blessed? I'm a real Nigerian, born Nigerian, a resilient Nigerian. I live by the citizens' code. I'm a real Nigerian.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Here's a news update. I'm Ruth Aguele. Airline operators in Nigeria have suspended a planned nationwide shutdown of flight operations over what they described as crippling fuel prices. The suspension came on the heels of government appeals to halt the action pending the outcome of scheduled talks. The airline operators of Nigeria had warned it would hold services from today, Monday, saying surging jet fuel cost has made operations unsustainable. In a statement, it said it agreed to pause the action following an appeal from Nigeria's Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, SAN. In other news, the Chief of Defence Staff, Olufemi Oluyede, has arrived at the headquarters of the Joint Task Force Operation Fasanyama in Zamfara State as part of an operational visit aimed at strengthening ongoing military efforts to address security challenges in the region. On arrival at the command headquarters, the CDS was received by senior military commanders and top officers of the operation. He was subsequently accorded a ceremonial guard of honor. The operational visit underscores the Defense Headquarters' commitment to boosting troops' morale and consolidating gains in the fight against banditry and other security threats. The visit is expected to provide an opportunity for the Chief of Defense Staff to assess ongoing operations, interact with troops, and review strategies aimed at enhancing security across Zamfara State and the wider Northwest. Senegal's former president, Macky Sall, is one of the 4 candidates auditioning this week for the United Nations top job. Sall is the only African among those vying to replace outgoing Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who leaves office at the end of the year. 4 candidates to be the next Secretary General of the United Nations will audition for the job this week, far fewer than there were 10 years ago when Antonio Guterres was selected as UN chief. Barely 1 week after a Nigerian mother of 3 died of cancer in the United Kingdom, we hear another Nigerian father of 3, identified simply as Herbert, has been found dead in his apartment. His family appeals for financial support to cover funeral and repatriation costs. In a post by an ex-user identified as the stress manager, says Herbert, who lived in Thornley, died suddenly in his sleep, in what relatives described as shocking and heartbreaking. Those are the stories we have at this time. Thanks for your time.
Technology world to enhance productivity and reduce human stress. This revolution in tech that is fast picking up in the country is in the areas of robotic and artificial intelligence. Welcome to What Matters. My name is Ibrahim Yusuf. The revolution in robotics is gaining momentum in Nigeria, and as a result of that, we decided to find out from Nigerians how knowledgeable they are on robotics. Let's hear them.
Globally, there are drivers to economic and productivity growth in societies. These drivers are dominating the landscape of technology, and the key among them is the robots.
Towards enhancing humanity, enhancing most of the things we do. For instance, on set now, I'm a thespian. If we're shooting films, we use drones, to shoot to get some shots, wide shot, long shot, and so many angles. It will be very easy for us to do it, with the help of that robot we call drone.
We make it faster and more accessible for us. For example, cars. You can easily get to where you want to go with a car if you have one, or like now we have Bolt, Ubers, we can do that. The ATM machines, the POS, washing machines, and also all those stuff.
There are some people that use robots as errands in the house. So, and also in advanced military too, they use robots to fight war, understand? So it's of help.
Robotics has become fashionable and in application, they enhance both positive and negative impacts on businesses and employees.
Number one, like by reducing the stress on humans, understand? So, and that also brings more productivity. Yes, because humans are wired to be tired at some point, but with robots, it's a machine, like I said earlier, you can cover more.
Most of the productions in Chicago, where cars are produced, are done by robots. So, but these are long-term development plans that they apply to help them reduce the work done by man. Great advantage, great output. It will work, and we need to start now.
According to a report, there are around 2.7 million industrial robots in active service around the world, and every year, about 400,000 new industrial robots are designed and marketed. This tells you that in the future, the presence of these artificial humans will compete with human beings. It also means that we humans will have to live side by side with devices that imitate human behavior.
They've almost, in fact, if not for legislation, robots have taken the jobs out of human beings, out of their hands. So their legislation also ensures that the robots...
Later his work was improved by Joseph Engelberger, who commercialized the use of robots.
Anything that has advantage must have a disadvantage. It's just a universal understand. So I think if you use robots in the wrong way, like use it for theft, understand, financial theft, is a disadvantage to the society. It may be to the person that is using it may be advantageous to him in a way, in quotes, understand, but to the society and to those who you are defrauding is a disadvantage. Yeah.
It's going to make people be laid out of job. That's a big disadvantage. If you have a family and one robot does the job you do the whole week, you'll be asked to go home and they will pay you your retirement fees. That's the biggest disadvantage of robots. Secondly, well, you can say that they will also make the bots that put those things together, helped by human beings. So that's also, the biggest, I'm telling you, is that a lot of people may be laid out of job. That's the biggest one.
Today, robots carry out dangerous tasks that human beings cannot perform. All that is left is for us to start creating their spaces in our midst, because no matter how we think about it, the robot has come to stay.
Of course, the use of robots have become fashionable, and we need to plan on how to accommodate them in our midst. Our next feature is on the origin of technology and how it came to create changes, bringing the best of the things we see today.
Technological changes are an old form of making life easier. Right from the 18th century, the process began with what was known as the Industrial Revolution, where the process of change from the just iron and steel, new energy sources like fuel, coal, steam engine, electricity, petroleum, and new machines like the spinning jenny and power loom. Man's quest for new life was infinite. It was necessity leading his fears all through, and paradoxically laying the fear of employment that the introduction of robots will bring to mankind. The wonders of these creatures are seen in all aspects of human endeavors. The trod where man's efforts are limitless. In science, engineering, health, education, with the milestones of robots. Nigeria has also made tremendous efforts in the human development of robotics and artificial intelligence (AI). The future is bright for the country as it joins the global community in the new revolution in science.
Indeed, the future will be bright for Nigeria because of the abundance of talents in the country. Now, considering the influence robots are creating in Nigeria, we caught up with Mr. Jerry Toba, a robotic engineer, who spoke to us on the state of robotics in the country.
A robot is a machine. Oftentimes, we want to see the machine like resembling a human or an animal. It's a combination of hardware, software, and sensors to make that same machine perform tasks or make those tasks easier for us as humans to do. So, but in a layman language, a robot is a machine that allows us to do jobs or tasks easily. When we put ourselves side to side with more advanced technological country, we are still in the developing stage. But we are still developing. We are good to go. We are at that developing stage in Nigeria for robotics. Sectors. The educational sector has seen a massive stride in robotics in recent years because recently the Federal Ministry of Education and Coderina, that was in 2019, signed an MOU to infuse robotics into every Federal Unity College's curriculum. So over the years, federal schools or federal unity colleges, of course, have been seeing a lot of strides in that aspect. Then the health sector was not left out. During the pandemic, 2020, we saw a lot of startup and a lot of people going into AI. The reason being that is robotics. We have few robots in Nigeria then. They were doing simple tasks like taking the temperature of people in the hospitals, doing very, very simple tasks that doctors could do. Then the agricultural sector, we've seen massive improvements where number one, we have infrastructure. As we know, a robot is a machine, and what does a machine need? A machine needs power supply. So infrastructure in terms of power supply is one of the major constraints of robotics in Nigeria. Number two, I would say skills acquisition. We have very few people in that sector, very few people going into the AI and robotics sector. So the skills that we have, there's a gap, there's a breach. But of course, like I said, we are still in the developing stage, so when something new comes up. First and foremost, I think we have to go through the education and training method. We need to educate people, which is what Coderina has been doing since 2013. We need to educate people on robotics, accepting robotics, train people, let them be aware. You train them, that skill gap, you breach it up. More and more people need to understand robots. More and more people act that we need infrastructures, especially the power supply. We need infrastructures in Nigeria for robotics. Number three, we'll talk about we need public awareness. The public needs to know the importance of robotics. They need to know that, they need to accept that. Just the way we did with the BVN, the way we did with the banking sector, we need to do that with robotics. Rigorous public awareness needs to be done. Skills acquisition. We need to train more and more people in the sector of robotics. More and more people need to be aware. More and more people need to be trained.
Need to teaching robotics in schools. We'll go on a break now. What Matters continue. You're watching What Matters on NTA. Now, let's take this feature on the relevance of robots in our midst.
Necessity is said to be the mother of invention. This is aptly displayed with the inventions ongoing in technology, where robots are designed to aid works performed by men in various sectors. Incidentally, the patronage of robots in our midst is growing and will soon be a necessity.
For the impact in our economy, you can find robotics in various aspects of the economy. You can find them in agriculture, you can find them in entertainment, you can find them in security, household. I mean, we have robots that do, we have automated vacuum cleaners. Instead of walking around and taking your cleaning yourself, all you have to do is send out your robots and then it goes around cleaning. We have drones in agriculture. Drones in agriculture, farmers have the ability to monitor their farms from a fixed location. If you have a 5 hectares farm, instead of working the whole day to monitor your crops and everything, all you have to do is pick up your drone, deploy it, and they can monitor with a screen or a monitor.
But how did we find ourselves in this?
The rest of them started building robots. It was basically for the rich guys to be entertained. But later on, companies like the GMC, General Motors, they started bringing in robots into their factories, their industry, to help them with car assembly. So normally, robots are supposed to complement human efforts. They are supposed to fill up where human beings cannot perform, like tasks like risky jobs or heavy lifting, things like that. That's where robots are supposed to come in, okay? And normally, technology is supposed to ease up human life. It's supposed to make things easier for us, right? If you want to send a letter from here to the United States, instead of you to wait 6 months to send a letter, you can then send through your email. It's the same thing robots are supposed to perform. They're supposed to work hand in hand with the current technologies we have.
However, the new world is a welcome development because of the opportunities it brings, especially in making life simple to live.
People think in the future, robots are going to take over our jobs, and they will have robots will be designed by human beings. That's creating job opportunity for the designers. They'll be programmed by human beings, creating job opportunities for the programmers, and they'll be maintained and managed by human beings, also creating job opportunities for human beings. All they are doing is those jobs that you cannot do, they will replace them for you, like heavy lifting, the risky ones, the dirty ones, the dull ones. They will come in and take over those jobs for you. So that I will not consider a disadvantage. The disadvantage I will consider now is the power aspect. You know, heavy machines require heavy power. So their power consumption normally, it used to be on the high side. So unless we're able to find a sustainable alternative electricity to, alternative source of electricity to the carbon one, the fuel cells that we're burning now, there will be no disadvantage, honestly, for me. I will use the industrial process, for example. If you have robots replacing some activities that human beings are doing, you have, robots will perform faster. higher speed, and they will perform with higher accuracy. So when you have speed, accuracy, or precision, which means you have more productivity. So when you have more productivity, it boosts your economy, and when it boosts your economy, it helps the country.
As we step gradually into this era, don't be amazed to see robots working side by side with you in the society.
Do you know that Nigerians are fast integrating into the world of robotics? We have great works to these testimonies, and I want you to see them.
Nigerians have been among the people breaking new grounds in designing robots that perform human functions in our society. Here are a few of these great scientists from Nigeria. First is the group that designed
temperature. Let's know what your temperature is saying.
35.9.
Okay, your temperature is fine. So check inside the compartment. You see your normal drug. You take that yellow one.
his or her temperature and issue drugs. Another breakthrough was the design of Mechamon by Silas Adekunle, a robotic engineer. His design was a four-legged robot that provides a video game of life characters. A robotic guard dog that walks and barks at any motion. The black robotic dog is designed to fight insecurity by alerting the owner of any motion within its vicinity.
It's amazing how Nigerians are designing robots to enhance activities in our society. You can also be part of those creating this artificial world. Let's do this again next week as we bring you another episode of What Matters on NTA International. Stay safe. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Goodbye.
This is the network service of the NTA.
The days of sympathy for persons with disabilities is gradually sliding away, and empathy is taking its place, because persons with disabilities are actually very capable and can do everything that every other person is doing. And you know what we preach on Against All Odds is for persons with disabilities dead in policy making decisions. Like when you're taking decisions, let persons with disabilities be included from inception so that they can be walked around. And so recently in a gender mainstreaming program for procurement is Doshima Pius Ikeravi. Don't go away. We will come with the full package of this event right to you.
This is Against All Odds.
Of Lagos, Interbal Foundation, amidst other stakeholders from across Nigeria and beyond, gathered for a pivotal conversation one that could reshape economic inclusion in the country. Themed, Gender on the Tender, Women's Economic Empowerment. This key stakeholders consultative forum focused on awareness creation and advocacy for the upcoming national policy on affirmative procurement. A policy designed to open doors for women-owned and women-led businesses, youth, persons with disabilities, and the elderly.
Today's gathering is a statement that procurement is more than a technical process. It's a powerful economic instrument. It should be embedded in our national systems.
CEO of Interbal Foundation for Women and Youth, Ms. Doris Okechukwu Mbadiwe, emphasized the urgent need to institutionalize economic access for marginalized groups through structured procurement reforms.
We have before us a historic opportunity to reshape access to public contract, active contributors within our economy, not peripheral participants. Public procurement, gender within procurement systems. We do more than promote equity. We stimulate growth.
From partners and advocates, each reinforcing the importance of collective responsibility in ensuring that no one is left behind.
Switzerland remains supportive of initiatives that promote inclusive economic development. Advancing gender-responsive procurement requires collaboration among government, private sectors not only trained, but positioned to access contracts, scale their businesses, and create employment.
The keynote address was delivered by the Director General of the Federal Bureau of Public Procurement, Dr. Adebowale Adedokun. He stressed that the policy would strengthen transparency, equity, and sustainable development, particularly highlighting the transformative impact for persons with disabilities.
During her service year, she enrolled in a vocational course where she learned beads making and fashion designing. She has given her time to fashion designing. How do you relate with your customers?
If I get a style that I know, not just the style alone, you want it to be like the person that's wearing it on the catalog, I'll tell you the truth. It won't fit. And if you insist, I'll tell you I can't do it. That's the truth. It's better than money.
There's always that one bad day. Have you encountered that one bad day?
Yes. Yes. And then she taught me a very big lesson. The problem, I don't know what happened. Will I say I lost my confidence while making that dress? And then I made a lot of mistakes. Because when she brought it in, she said, ha! She was just saying plenty things. All this careful.
Sewing and hair is a very lucrative business, right? How much do you charge for your clothing?
2,000 and above, depending on your style. You know, we have people that no matter how the price you tell them, they still want the price. So if I see you and I see that you are that kind of person, I will not tell you the exact price, so that you are the one that will price to that people. Okay, make this dress for you 2,500. When you show me the style, I'm going to tell you that it's 4,000 naira. You now bargain to the point.
Okay, one, she's my neighbor, and I've seen her works before. Her works are very perfect, and this is not the first time she's making a dress for me. So I think she'll continue to be my designer because she's very good in what she does.
I'm sure you're all aware that there's a commission in Nigeria about those with disability by law. So now we are bringing them into the ecosystem. By the way, you see, public procurement is an enabler. Of how to get everybody into the system. If BPP plays his role, which you are now playing, all we need to do is to put necessary guidelines and policy to force government agencies and institutions to comply. Failure to do it is also a failure to comply with the legal provision, which is also jailable. For the first time, we will be putting into tender documents provisions for every government agencies to allocate a certain percentage for this group of people. That's how it's going to work. So you are not going to be begging. I hope I'm communicating. The era of going to offices to beg. By this bidding document, it will be a thing of the past, and it will be done electronically. By doing this, we're going to enter into the global space where Nigeria becomes compliant, and then direct investments will become even much easier and faster, because no country in the world looks down on this group.
When you come to Olympics, it's only PWDs that bring medals for some years now. Olympics is only PWDs, even all African games and other international games. It's only PWDs that bring medal. But these people are not really taken care of. Most of them fight for themselves. They take themselves to the height where they are, which is not good. It is only when you've gone for the festival, for the competition, and you come back, maybe the state or the country will want to recognize you. It's not really good to us. When it comes to the business, I love doing something. I don't like going to the road, asking for arms up and down. At times I meet people, I ask them for assistance. I talk to the person says, okay, what do I really want to do? I said, I learned pastries. I went to catering school. I learned pastries and other things. So the person said, what can I do now? I said, I want to have a mini supermarket. He said, no, he cannot afford that now. I said, okay, let me just have, even if it's a table setup. I said, okay. You know, tell the world how we, the PWDs, are suffering, that they should come to our aid. I pray this opportunity will bring a good success. Thank you very much for bringing me here.
Cubes Saver Pack and 100 Cubes Super Saver Pack.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
The first panel session brought together experts who examined the structural barriers facing women-led enterprises and explored action contracts, financial literacy, compliance support, and capacity building.
Now that we have a policy on our hands, we aspire to this.
Capacity training, sensitization creation is what we want. It's a tool for bridging the gap. There's need for the information to be put out there. There's need for hands-holding, mentorship, training to enable policy, and the powers enshrined in the Public Procurement Act drives compliance to all stakeholders to ensure that this gap is bridged and bridged quickly through capacity training and sensitization.
A goodwill message from the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs reinforced government's commitment to gender-responsive policies. The minister described the initiative as a milestone in closing economic gaps and accelerating women's participation in national development. The second panel session deepened the conversation, focusing specifically on the importance of affirmative procurement for persons with disabilities. Panelists underscored accessibility, representation, and equitable bidding opportunities as key pillars of the proposed policy.
How can inclusive procurement drive employment opportunities for persons with disabilities beyond ownership to workforce inclusion, particularly again, taking it into consideration that our traditional neglect these people, not even looking at them as economically vibrant demography.
So in terms of workforce, for persons with disability, especially as it relates to, say, procurement and all of that, so we are saying not just persons with disabilities being owners of businesses, but being part of the workforce. First, we have to understand from just what you said that there's a lot of discrimination and low representation across all sectors. We do not have enough data for disability inclusion in Nigeria. Organizations like mine are just beginning to create that sort of data. So, but I can tell you, using the UN numbers, that about 15% of Nigerians are persons living with disabilities. Someone said 5% of procurement goes to women. Now think of how many of that goes to persons with disabilities that are women, right? But I think that one of the things we can do, since the Disability Act mandates that 5% of employment be reserved for persons with disabilities, ensure or enforce that every organization that is implementing any procurement by themselves have part of their workforce at least 5% persons with disability. It's like the way the government is going about the tax implementation. It means that you want to benefit from any government, opportunity. They ask you, are you tax compliant? How about if any organization, any person has persons with disability? That helps us to create numerous opportunities for persons with disability within the workforce, because we know that persons with disabilities can work. Right? My organization work in bridging the gap between the demand and supply of talent with disabilities, and we know there are many persons with disabilities who can. That would help us increase the amount of persons with disability that we have in the workforce.
A mentor, because I don't have money to empower some of them, but with my knowledge that I have, if some people can listen. No even listen to me, because they will be like, who is she? Because right now that is what they say. Who am I? Because I don't used to go outside for begging. Say, who is she that says you? We will be one now. That is what they say. Someday we will be one. Every day we must go outside together.
But with the media like you can help us. Changing of mentality doesn't happen in a jiffy. It takes years. But one most important thing is that we have to start from somewhere. Once we start, we start going.
Who find themselves in the situation that I am is because, number one, for a person with disability, you need to change so many mentalities. And for you to change these mentalities, you need to be the mentality of who you want people to be. That is just it.
But it's something that we're looking into it as accommodating. We're not that new. We've been, like I said, 2021. We're still working on improving the programs at the stage where we know that we're ready, because it's not just accommodating them. We need to make sure that we can conduce it for them. But it's something, of course, that we're very much open to doing and will happen in the near future.
The good thing about the affirmative policy on procurement that will soon be passed, the benefit for persons with
Inclusive growth is not optional. It is essential, because when women, youths, persons with disabilities, and the elderly are empowered, the nation prospers.
Thank you so much, Adiola, for putting all that together. for against all odds. You know, it's very important for us to note that persons with disabilities are equally very hardworking. As we saw, of course, in that report, we have persons with disabilities who are running their business, and they're running it very well. Look at this tree. It didn't grow in one day.
What's going on here? Why do you have your things scattered all over the place? Your slippers on my bed? How much would I give you for a night?
Are you mad?
Esther, you know they even lock your door. Okay!
You're a thief.
Mother
Now that Victorian friend will get big front and back. So I said, look, they go. I just hear.
The remaining 2 minutes are for you.
I'm showing you money. Calm down. You should have thought about that before going to buy a phone that you cannot afford.
I will bite you if I not giving me my money, be lightness. But
this is okay for you to
Is another way of life for this country.
Welcome to Nigeria, where dreams are big and the spirit is bigger. Young people are chasing opportunities, facing challenges, and looking for economic independence. From tech startups to street hawkers, young Nigerians are trying to make it in a country with opportunities despite challenges.
I started my business in school, University of Benin, right? And I studied computer science. And because of the fact that I just wanted to do more for myself, basically, right? I didn't have so much faith in the educational system. Not that it was bad, I just didn't have so much faith in it at the time. Because do something else. And what I had to do was I had to create businesses that provided solutions for the problems that I'm facing. Now, what I've noticed is that most young people, they think about first world problems. You can't be solving first world problems in a developing country, in a country like Nigeria, for instance, right? What you need to do is you need to create solutions for problems that you can fix within your local environment, right? So what problem problems can you see in your community, in your local government, in your state, in your geopolitical zone that you can address, right? Start from there. If you can create solutions for problems that you can see, right, you will definitely, you will definitely not struggle as much, because you will have people that will be willing to provide, give you money for you to be able to solve that problem.
Starting from my school days, I went to school and my course was changed. I went for SLT, Science Lab Tech, but it was changed to quantity surveying. But in the midst of that difficulty, I was able to put myself together, because the first semester I was like, I'm lost. Why am I here? I shouldn't be here. I was crying and all that. But God helping me. I don't have this, so I decide to be this. No. I was faced with challenges because I don't know, I don't like anything about building. I went into it. It wasn't easy. I overcame it. From there, I grew, practice. Interior came into it, but it wasn't easy.
Unemployment, financial strain, and self-doubt are part of the journey. But so are the grit and determination. These young Nigerians are turning their passions